Okay. Hey, folks, here we are on a fine, what is it, Thursday today for the political dinner with Blake and myself. So much fun and games going on. It's hard to keep up with it all. We do a show Monday to Friday. Wednesday, we do it at 3 o'clock Pacific, but the rest of the week, we're in at noon for basically an hour of political chit chat. The big story today is really kind of rocking everything. But this was predicted. This is what gets really weird about this. And when things get predicted, then, get the tinfoil hats out. You never know what's going to go on.
There's no links in the chat yet.
Okay, so no.
You haven't put any links in yet.
Okay, no. Oh, I haven't dropped any. I see what you're saying. Yeah, I've been out scouring the X platform, which we like to do on this program. And then we just kind of, dialogue and chew all up the kind of the information there. I think I just put in the wrong damn link for you. Sorry, hang on, Sue. I got all these links, different stories we're following. Hakeem Jeffries out there making noise again as usual. The usual suspects. Okay, so unfortunately, it's just dropping it all like it is like that for whatever reason. Okay, so it's going to make Sue's job tougher. Basically, Elon Musk and Donald Trump appear to be at war. But what I find interesting is entities like the Last Refuge had already called for it. And they said, this is all happening. Now, it's going to be very difficult. I've made your job extremely difficult, Sue, because all this kind of bled together. Let's go aligned against Trump. So that would be... Try the one with that ends in 541215, aligned against Trump, I call it. Hey, Sarah, how you doing? Welcome to a little bit of political gab fest with talking about some of the political. We are going to see what goes on. Matthew Petty, Liberal at Large, has joined us. Welcome aboard, buddy. Good to see you, Matthew. Okay, so we're waiting on Sue if she can suss that out. It's not easy. Okay, what do we got here? There's a number of these things, so hopefully we get the right one.
Cat Turd has a lot of it there too.
Yeah,
so you can track.
But the Last Refuge, this is if you look at their profile, the Last Refuge is a nondescript group of non-politically affiliated types that are speaking out against Republicans, against Democrats. Basically, they're a patriotic group. I've been following them for a long time. Here's what they're saying. Thomas Massey, okay, this guy's a guy that Trump's been at war with, wants Elon Musk to fund primary challengers to Trump and supporters in Congress. And then Alexander IFBAP writes, oh my God, I've yet to see you be wrong. This is heartbreaking to me. Please be wrong this time. And so this was done this isn't like new, this is hot off the press, his response. But the Last Refuge did this like last year. He said they made a prediction that in May of 2025, Massey, Rand Paul, a whole bunch of these kind of, they're almost MAGA, they reach for it, but they don't quite get there types that are aligned against Trump for various reasons. And Elon Musk is basically thrown in with these guys. And the Last Refuge team predicted this thing last year. It said, wait for it. It's going to happen. We got Cat Turd here. He goes, oh, boy, here we go. And so the barbs are firing. The easiest way to save money in our budget, billions and billions of dollars, terminate Elon's government subsidies and contracts. I was always surprised that Biden didn't do it. So that's just pure piss in the water kind of comment. Which I don't support the president with that kind of language. I think it's stupid. Elon's been instrumental in helping out. And the kind of things that Elon's been doing, providing Starlink, et cetera, have been incredible. Elon's calling Trump a liar. I'm making some popcorn. Anybody, MJ Truth Ultra? False. The bill was never shown to me. Even once it was passed in the dead of night so fast, almost no one in Congress could even read it. I'm very disappointed with Elon. I've helped him a lot. He knew the inner workings of the bill better than anybody sitting here. He had no problem with it. All of a sudden, he had a problem, and he only developed a problem when he found out we're going to cut out the EV electric vehicle mandate. So trouble in paradise. You know, and credit to the legacy media. They've been saying this bromance was going to come to a crashing end all the way. Yeah, almost MAGA. How sad. You know why? Because make America great again is the way to go. You get guys like Rand Paul fishing for themselves, bruised egos. Listen, Trump got the vote. We support Trump. He's the guy. He's the president. All you fucking libtards running around saying, oh, he's only president because of Elon, and Elon's they're just all bum fucking each other. And I'm telling you, none of that's accurate. Trump's the guy. All the people who are behind Trump, no matter what. The Democrats have blown it. And independent of all of this soap opera nonsense, the Democrats are still crashing in the polls. They're leaderless. They're rudderless. What are you going to do? Vote Rand Paul, liberals? Right? Is that your guy now? Ted Cruz? Is that? Oh, Nancy Pelosi's there to grant you the Pelosi clap of condescension, motherfucker. All right, Blake, what do you think of all this?
Well, I mean, I'm going to take a different position on this. Yeah. I think these guys are pretty clever. They've learned the political game and how to communicate and put on a production or a pillow fight in public for reasons that I think very similar to what he did to Canada, right? I'm here for the Liberal. I'm voting for I think the Liberal is better to deal with than the Conservative. I remember him saying that. Yet the Conservative ideologically is probably closer to what Trump wants, yet Carney was his guy. But, Elon made a point, and he does make a valid point. His point was there's still oil and gas subsidies by the billions inside these bills. So, if you're going to subsidize oil and gas, why wouldn't you subsidize EV? But, that's a valid point. So oil and gas certainly doesn't need subsidies. They've got a lot of investment that will come privately through private equity to make sure that the drill baby drill will happen. Yeah. You don't need subsidies for that. But the other side of the coin is I kind of wonder, because Elon's taken a massive hit financially for his involvement of helping Trump.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of wondering if this is, again, that kind of 4D chess game where Trump's helping him out by, hey, let's have a fight in public. Let's make it look like we're not buddies anymore, so that the left comes back to buying your Tesla vehicles again. Because instead of burning them and putting swastikas on them and vandalizing them, that maybe that's what he's doing. I mean, it's possible.
But you know what this is? It's 1985. It's Triple H, and he's drugged. Daughter, and they're going to get married. He's taking her to Vegas drive-through wedding window. That was an incredible episode way back when. But you're absolutely right. It sure got all the earmarkings of maybe a political theater. It could be, because I mean, it's so overt, it's so out there. It lacks any sort of wisdom. And look what it's doing. It's igniting non-liberals like Matthew Petty. What the hell are you, Petty? I know you hate Trump. What the hell is this?
Well, and I think they've got the other thing is just that the fact that Trump actually retweeted, or Elon did, one of Trump's tweets, and that was simply, and made a comment with regard to the idea that Warren Buffett had said a number of years ago, that if you want to change Congress, you should make it that if they don't balance a budget, that they immediately have to resign and are never allowed to run in Congress again. Yeah. And they supported each other in that in the last few hours, and I'm just saying, like, I don't know if it's if it's more of is it a real fight, or is it a bromance fight a pillow fight where they're putting on a production, just to help Elon out so they can get his sales back up and get the lefty loonies off his back from trashing all his vehicles. It's quite possible, but who knows? I mean, you got big egos there, and anything can happen. As you said, it's like Triple H versus Steve Austin, and they're fighting over the girl or whatever in WWE.
Yeah, they got the script. It's all out there.
Yeah.
But, whatever the fallout is going to be from this, obviously we're going to keep tabs on it. Go ahead, Sue. What do you got? By the way, Sue's off camera here, but she's helping us out, bringing links up, following stories, and of course she's digging in and finding stuff. What do you got?
I got some.
Okay, she's got one to add to. More fuel on this burning Trump-Musk fallout of the bromance. And let's take a look at what we got here. Oh my God! Very WWE like psychedelic cyclist. There we go. There's Trump giving her and Vince McMahon taking a hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's got all the earmarks of that.
Exactly.
Okay, so we'll get back to that. I mean, this is kind of breaking news. Obviously, it's all over the place today.
By the way, I just want to answer Matthew quickly. Yeah, there's trout in that river. There's lots of people who fly fish there.
It's in British frickin' Columbia, Matthew. The place is filled with salmon and trout. It's God's country, for the love of God. All right. Holy smokes. Can't keep up with these kids. All right, Sue, let's look at Hakeem Jeffries. I've got one there called Hakeem Jeffries. He's talking about ISIS, another American story that it's worth following. It's just kind of the times in which we live. And I do, again, apologize to Sue because, you know what? I'll redo all these links one by one as I do the story, Sue, okay? Ignore that. I'm going to drop it in. Okay. Well, from here on in, I'll do it that way. It'll be easier for you. Okay, grab there. There we go. Okay, so here's Hakeem Jeffries. Roll the clip of this guy.
Every single
leave it like that.
ICE agent who's engaged in this aggressive overreach and are trying to hide their identities from the American people will be unsuccessful in doing that. This is America. This is not the Soviet Union. We're not behind the Iron Curtain. This is not the 1930s. And every single one of them, no matter what it takes, no matter how long it takes, will of course be identified. Every single.
Okay, what's the wisdom of identifying all these officers of the government so that maybe, the folks down there in the cartels who want them dead might make them a little easier.
You're doxing them.
Please send that self-addressed stamped envelope, and we'll send you an 8x10 color glossy of Hakeem with each kill you get, because these guys out to kill these ICE agents, and this motherfucker's doxing them. What do you think about that? I think it's insanity.
Yeah, that a lot of these people should be arrested for, if somebody dies because of it, they should be arrested for it as at least an accessory to the murder. I mean, if they're inciting violence, because that's what they're doing. They're very clever with the words, but it is an incitement to violence. And you're seeing it on the streets. I've seen a lot of the videos where they're going after ICE agents. They're throwing stuff at them. They're pushing them. They're doing stuff. And actually, I thought the ICE agents that I've seen have been very, very calm. Some of them have got a little, they'll push a guy out of the way or something. But yeah, it's ridiculous. These people are doing their jobs. Get out of the way. They're doing what they're supposed to be doing. And if these people are attacking them, they should have a right to defend themselves. You don't go out and just shove a cop around. You just don't do it. It won't. Let's see how well that works out for you. But I think the leaders that are pushing this crap to create a BLM kind of environment in the summer of love of 2020, which was more like a summer of rage, are trying to incite that kind of similar violence again. Those people need to be arrested. They are the true. They're the what should be what January 6th was, is they should be arrested for causing insurrections, because that's what it is. It is an insurrection.
Yeah. And of course, so Trump, the administration's being hindered and hampered from the lawfare from these rogue judges. And then this is another element of it, because ICE has been incredibly successful. The U.S. border has never been more secure in decades. And so with all this success, we've got this kind of wrinkle from people like Hakeem Jeffries. And of course, I can't remember everybody's name. Maxine Waters has been very vocal with some of her language, inciting, go get them. We got to get the bastards. That kind of, the story. Sue, I got another link for you to bring up. This one's called Canada Immigrants. That one, if you bring that link up, because with ICE doing the crackdown and being so effective at it, of course, up here in the Great White North, we're being impacted by all this. And apparently, this is that's not that one. Sorry. This is what I want. Boom. U.S.-Canada crackdown, or the U.S. crackdown, illegal immigrants is sending a surge of refugees. Where into frickin' Canada as if we don't have enough problems. It's just been reported we got 817 plus thousand individuals.
And that's only between January and March. That's the first quarter.
Yeah, the first quarter we got, pretty much 1 million people came into Canada. And now we're getting these ones coming in, and they're not part of that statistic. They're not part of that figure. So this is more adding weight. This is the veritable straw that can break the camel's back. How are we going to house these people? What kind of jobs are available for them? There's a lot of logistical.
Well, and add up the 3 years that they were talking about. We had 5 million that have been brought in 3 years, add another 817,000. So now we're pushing 6 million because of the 5 million. Many of them are here on expired visas, expired student visas, expired work permit visas, and many of them, most of them expire at the end of this year. And the government's trying to find a way to keep them here. I'm sorry, but these people are affecting our economy. But for Americans to understand that, we're a country of 40 million. And if you add in 6 million people into that society,
that changes the dynamic in the whole nation radically and quickly. And
picture America getting 40 million new people in 3 years. 40 million. That's give an idea. That's an equivalency. Some people say that during the Biden administration, roughly 20 million people crossed the border illegally, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. They don't know what the real number is, but it's somewhere up in there. But in Canada, it would be if you did the equivalency, it would be close to 40 million people came into the U.S. in 3 years. How would you handle that? Where would you put all of them? Where are they going to live? I mean,
where do they go? How are they going to get a job?
Yeah. Right? And that's the thing. They're displacing locals because the people who are pushing this are the large multinational corporations who want cheap labor. Right. That's what it's all about. And they say, and that's been a fight for a long time. That's like hundreds of years of fight, or, a couple hundred years. Every time a new immigrant group comes in, displaces a local group from pricing them out of the market. But that's what the global corporations are doing now. Now it's on a global scale. Let's get the cheapest people here to do the work, and that's essentially what happens, because they're saying, well, nobody will do farm work, or nobody will work at a Tim Hortons, whatever the excuse is.
Yeah. So with that in mind, Sue, can you grab this link that's called the trade deficit? We got some new numbers out today, and things are not going well for Canada. Now, Carney's spinning this, say this is exactly why I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm Santa Claus. As what's his name called?
Ford, Dougie Ford.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely moronic. But here's the headline. This is coming from City TV. So this is a legacy media outlet with their little gold tag. Breaking: Canada posts its largest merchandise trade deficit on record at $7.1 billion as exports fell because the tariffs are having an impact. And because those tariffs are having an impact, they are not buying. I mean, the Americans are saying, we don't want this. The Trump administration say, we don't want your Canadian goods. We'll build our own. Thank you. And so it had an immediate impact on Canada, 7.1. How can we sustain while we're having such incredible economic pressure? It's a pressure cooker.
Because our elbows will save us.
They're not going to help on this one. I know you love the elbows up.
Chicken wings up. Yeah.
But I'm telling you, man, I mean, you've got all these, you've got this massive immigration influx. Yep. On top of that, you've got an economy that's absolutely tanking. The people say, oh, Trump's a great gift to the liberals because they're going to enter into a big recession. And now they can put the blame on Trump, just like, they're still mentioning Harper. like, Harper hasn't been in government for like 10 years. And then every now and then, then Harper, it's all because of Harper that we're in the mess we are. And it has fucking sweet fuck all to do with him.
Exactly. Well, you look at the immigration charts alone of what's come in, and you look at the last 3 years, it's like this. Here's the normal growth of progression. They would show 350, maybe 400,000 immigrants a year coming to Canada. And then all of a sudden, the spike just goes through the roof. And it's all in the last 4 years. Harper had nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing. But what your point is on the economy, what's interesting is the data that they would be collecting isn't 100% accurate yet, because what is showing is that a lot of exports and importers are holding stuff up in containers and are not delivering them yet, waiting to see where the tariffs go. So they're waiting. So it's ready to go, but to see if tariffs come off. So stuff isn't being sent because they don't want it to pay a tariff now, and they're waiting because it seems to be changing by the day. Oh, we're going to raise tariffs up by 50% tomorrow, and then 100%. Then it's dropped back down again. Oh, we're going to give them a break. So a lot of these people that are involved in the supply chain, all the companies, they're just holding stuff back and waiting to move it in at the right timing so that they don't pay these huge tariffs. And you'll notice, though, China is a big player on that tariff side against Canada. And you never hear the Liberals going on and on about how China is the big bad evil as well. And they're tariffing Canadian products, killing our farmers on their canola tariffs, which is going to be catastrophic to our farming communities across the West.
Yeah, but the fix is in with China. So much corruption. They're like the Ukraine to the USA. I mean, there's so much money laundering going on there. We got 11 members of parliament. These are basically Canada's version of Congress people, American cousins.
Yeah.
And so you got all these MPs, members of parliament, 11 of them that we've identified so far. There's probably more.
And at provincial level, too. Yeah.
And at the provincial level, too. The member of the Legislative Assembly. So we've got all them, too. There's a lot of corruption on the provincial level and on the federal level. So this is like absolutely crazy. And China's got their fingerprints all over it. Further trouble in Canada, we're talking about immigration. Can you get this link I just dropped there? This is from another one of our legacy outlets called CTV. They've come up with a story. It never ends, Blake. And I'll get into this. There's new legislation being introduced yet again. This time, Liberals introduced citizenship by descent legislation. So how that works, if you're in Canada and then you've got relatives outside of Canada, they can automatically, without ever stepping foot on Canadian soil, get their Canadian citizenship. And the idea here is that obviously it'll facilitate their movement from wherever the hell they are to Canada, and then compounding the problem yet further. And I'll just expand upon this so folks can read it if we got it up here. This Bill C3, an act to amend Citizenship Act, would automatically, I started sounding like Chris Walken there, automatically give citizenship to anyone who would be a citizen today, if not for the first generation limit. Under the current rules, a Canadian citizen born outside Canada cannot pass their citizenship to their kid if the kid was also born outside the country. Now they'll allow access to citizenship beyond the first generation, so long as the parent has spent at least 1,000 days, basically, or 3 years physically in Canada prior to the birth. The new amendment reverses a change by then Prime Minister Stephen Harper. There he is. And on it goes. So further, removing any obstacles to, come on in, the water's fine here, but it's starting to look a lot like the Ganges. Matthew, you missed an incredible show of adventure and fun. Okay. Sorry, I was just watching Japan. They have a moon landing, a lunar module landing a crash. It's crashing on the moon. What the hell? Uh-oh, that doesn't sound good. Hey, Ricardo Jimenez, Richard James, welcome to the show. We're glad to have you here with me and Blake. But yeah, so what do you think about this citizenship idea? Have I got it right? Is this just another means of facilitating the onslaught of the newcomers that are, straining our social safety network? And what about that social net?
Well, they've crashed it. They've crashed it. I just had a conversation with a doctor who I know in our industry that I work in.
Now, this is what we call an anecdotal evidence. So
yeah. So anyway, he's a doctor. He works in Ontario. He can't find a doctor for himself as well, because generally you have your own doctor or his family, because he had moved from Alberta to Ontario, and he was just telling me literally a couple days ago. I had a conversation with him. He had to go take his daughter to one of the clinics there, and he goes, "Listen," he goes, "I'm the last guy that's going to complain about somebody's skin color." But he goes, when he went into the clinic, he says it was like a third world nightmare. He goes, there was people all over the floors, all over the place, lined out the door. He goes, I could guarantee very few of them were actually Canadian. And he goes, so when you're talking about
I got to comment. Hold on. No, I know you're fired up, but listen to this. Is a biblical disease of leprosy about to make a big return? The biblical disease of leprosy. I just see the lepers, and we're going to have leper colonies. We're going to have all sorts of stuff.
That's right. Well, he's just saying like the healthcare system is crashing. It can't handle this 6 million people that have poured in. If it is 6, it could be 10. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't have the
because they don't tell the truth. But we can see with our own eyes there's demographic shifts massively especially in the large cities. But it's crashing our healthcare system. So I think, some people are arguing, well, they're doing it purposely because they want to bring in a private healthcare system. But the reality is the healthcare system is crashing. People can't get into hospitals. Emergency rooms are sometimes being shut down because there's not enough doctors.
Yeah.
And I'm just pointing, and let's remember, folks, Canada celebrates one of its biggest arms, elbows up flags is that our healthcare system is 100% free. Which isn't true because it's taken out of your taxes. But the point is you don't need to go pay extra for a doctor. Well, you can't get one. And our hospital systems are collapsing. So you have nothing left. And if you have a doctor, you're one of the lucky few. It's like a lottery now.
Yeah.
And so essentially this is what's happening everywhere across Canada. We're seeing a crashing of all housing, healthcare, economy. It's strange, and yet the Canada. I think
Pelosi is reaching out with the condescending clap to tell Canada that you've done really great. They're fucking up the country there.
Well, and just to get to the immigration, if you look at the parliamentary speeches on this, they're saying, well, we're adjusting the immigration policies to make them stronger. Well, what do you mean stronger? Stronger bringing people in or getting out all the people with their expired visas? Get them out of here because we need homes for Canadians. If we can't afford homes for Canadians, there's a quick way to make it affordable is get rid of 5 million people who shouldn't be here anymore with expired visas.
And to the casual observer,
not real immigrants who actually applied for citizenship and are doing the process legally, but student visas doesn't mean you get to be a citizen.
Yeah. And or temporary foreign worker stuff.
Business. Well, and that's most of them, right? And a lot of those student visas are fake, right? They've made faux schools where they pay like 30 grand to get a rubber stamp to come here. And they're really just being used as a way to work for the local trucker company or work in a factory somewhere and work on the farm. It's a nasty scenario. We're in a difficult situation.
Yeah, and of course, all this, the costs of everything. I mean, it's hard to wrap your head around this stuff. Sue goes, our sockeye salmon package at Super Canada Superstore, they call it.
That's 2 pieces of salmon.
2 pieces of salmon went for $15, which is outrageous to begin with. But then it jumped $7 to $21.99, and all in a single swell swoop. It just jumped, This is absolutely unbelievable. And, the middle class are the ones that get impressed, like unbelievable, right?
I'm just looking at Matthew's comment there about housing in
Matthew,
El
right.
Salvador. Yeah, well, that's where all the Bitcoin billionaires are going.
El Salvador is doing amazing.
Thing
Yeah.
for El Salvador, they got the right kind of government in, and they're cleaned up. And El Salvador is looking a lot more preferable to Canada right now. They've done very well for themselves in that economy. They're doing quite well. Argentina is doing very well under Milei. You know,
Honduras was another terrible place that's turned it around a fair bit as well.
Yeah, Honduras, of course. And don't they share the island? Where is Honduras? Like whereabouts?
It's right next to El Salvador. It's right in that.
It is right in there. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Mac, welcome from Liverpool. This is my good buddy, Mac. Mac knows I'm into genealogy and stuff. My grandfather, he's over in Liverpool, my grandfather. And Mac's over there, and he went around to Everton Cemetery and helped film the place and did some grave hunting and stuff for me. So just super good guy. I'm glad to have you over here on the political channel. We're not as long as I do on my music channel, but we have a lot of fun, a lot of stories to cover. Sue, do you want to drop in any of the two that you brought into us? I think you may have brought three. Jane Goodall. Do Jane Goodall. Okay. She's always worth for
I got a couple of Janes.
Jane Goodall, you know. Oh, she's right up there with Greta. She's an old Greta. If Greta lives long enough, and by gum, if you're of the praying persuasion,
you gotta listen.
The last we heard from her, she's 80 miles off the coast of Greece, swimming in the Mediterranean. And we just hope she's going to be okay. But Jane Goodall, remember her with monkeys and stuff? She can talk to the
Save the Gorillas. Made a movie about her. Gorillas in the Mist. Yeah.
Gorillas in the Mist. Isn't that the one with Terminator girl playing her?
Okay, are you ready?
I can't remember.
It was, what's her name? You know, the one in Terminator, the girl that goes kill stuff.
Or you mean Alien?
Alien, that's what I mean.
Sigourney Weaver.
Sigourney Weaver. Anyway, she was in Ghostbusters. She's funny.
I got two Janes.
Okay, two Janes to go. Pop them up. Let's see what you got here.
Is there a seafood called Jane's Fish and Chips?
Jane's Fish and Chips? There isn't. There ought to be.
Yes, there is.
Have you discussed? Yeah, we talked about that right off the top of the show. That's the big story for the day, no doubt about it, Mac.
Oh, okay, look at those beautiful logos.
Now, I love the way they frame this. The World Economic Forum's possessive Jane Goodall, so she's a WEF spokesperson now. Yes. Suggests that reducing the human population down to 500 million. Let's reduce that by 93%. For today's numbers, would make the world a much better place. Holy smokes! Talk about your fun with eugenics.
I got a good one.
This is the kind of nonsense. You know, there's so much. Have you ever traveled through Canada and how much room and vast areas? Like this spot behind Blake is like just a few miles down the road from where I am. That could be. You could put a condo on the left there, leave the trees on the left. There is so much untapped land that has not been used. I've heard it quoted that you could take the entire world's population of 5 billion or wherever we're at right now, 6 billion, I don't know, and throw that into Texas, and you'd still have room for a few more. Like there's that much arable land remaining on.
Yeah, I saw that they used Alberta as an example. Alberta could sustain 11 billion people and farming. It could do the whole thing just in Alberta.
Because it's large enough. Yeah. Okay, here we go.
My name is Jane Goodall. My age is 80. My job is giving people hope. If I'm allowed to change a few things, if I just have this magic power, I would like to, without causing any pain or suffering, reduce the number of people on the planet, because there's too many of us. It's a planet of finite resources and we're using them up. But what I really, really, really would love to change is the unsustainable lifestyle of everybody else. We're just greedy.
Didn't that character show up in the Avengers? Where he was trying to wipe out 50% of the population of the universe with a snap of a finger?
No, it's the real deal. No,
it is a real deal.
She really believes that stuff, Richard.
They should make her speak with a German accent.
Yeah, that's like they have that idiot Klaus Schwab or whatever.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sue. What's that?
King Charles feels the same way.
King
He
Charles
does.
has got the same agenda, but we played that thing that was it the Glenn Beck little clip. You know, I have lived a good life. Let's get rid of all the old people. They all go, I have lived a good life. The planet simply cannot sustain itself with us here. Well, Jane, you're 80 fucking years old. I mean, what the hell what was that movie with Michael York in it? Remember that? Once
Logan's Run.
Logan's Run. They got a Logan's Run, Jane Goodall's ass. You know, you're 80. Maybe you've lived a good life, Jane. And the way she said, the way people live, and it's like all them and it's not her. You know, what do you mean? What's your carbon foot like, Bridezilla? What the hell's going on there?
Well, maybe the whole Magic Power. Maybe she's a Triumph fan. That's a great song.
She doesn't want magic powder. It's not a powder, Matthew. It's power. Power.
Yeah.
Magic powder, for the love of God.
Maybe her magic powder is Zyklon B.
Yeah. But Jane Goodall, this is kind of that mentality of this globalist mindset where humanity bad, we're all carbon. There's nothing sacred or divine about any human. We're just on the same level as the crickets that we're supposed to eat. Speaking of crickets, can we segue into cricket story? I'd love to see cricket story. Isn't it in part of all this?
I hear crickets.
No.
Yeah, we're hearing crickets. Okay, well, let's just talk about it off the cuff. Although the quote that you read earlier was great, but we'll just tell you the big picture on it. Manitoba, the Canadian government, all their infinite wisdom. I want to say off the top of my head, $40 million into a cricket factory for consumption, so that we'd give up our Angus beef out in Alberta, the great province of Alberta. We give up our steaks, which we can't afford anyway, and get planet-friendly crickets to eat, so that we're now reduced to anteater status, and we're consuming we're consuming crickets. Apparently, these frickin' idiots have lost sight of the 40 million they gave. Like, there's no accounting. It's not on the books.
It's $9 million for one thing.
Okay, it's $9 million. Where's my 40 million coming from?
Hang on a second.
It was a $40 million project in all or something.
Just hang on. I had it and I lost it.
Trump is not in there. I haven't seen anything on Trump. If they had anything on Trump, it would have been out a long time ago, before Elon Musk. A lot of people more than Elon Musk wanted to nail Trump's ass to the shed. So I would proceed with all due caution when it comes to that. Trump's not on the flight logs going to the island. Keep in mind, Jeffrey Epstein was a New York player. Trump was based in New York. A lot of people connected, not just Trump, Hillary, all powerful people connected with Epstein. That's his role. You know, some people suggest he was Mossad. There's a lot there. Okay, let's get back to our crickets. There's our favorite guy. Liberals gave the cricket plant $9 million. Now it's in receivership. Endless money squandered by the government, and no one else has to answer for it. Bug off. Canada's biggest insect protein plant squished despite millions of taxpayers' cash.
So here's the thing.
Great
Rebel
headline.
News.
Right.
Rebel News has asked for records on where this money went and how it was spent, because it's gone bankrupt. And the Liberal government has come back with the answer that we have no records of what happened to the money that was given to.
So they FOIA this. They want to see let's see the check, let's see the paperwork, and let's see the receipts. And there are none to be seen, because it's a money laundering operation. Allegedly, we love that word around here. Obviously, something crooked was going on with the crickets. Crickets.
And it's only on it's an entire stack of scams that the Liberals have been accused of in the last 10 years, including the Arrive scam app, where it was basically $100,000 app that cost the taxpayers $60 million, went to buddies and insiders. And that it's just an endless list of the elbows up crowd just seemed to ignore. It was okay, but what it really shows me, and my comment on this is one of many, 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 many scams going on. It used to be a decade or even 20 years ago. This stuff was vetted in the people would have committees researching the scam, getting the information out there, and people would be exposed. MPs or cabinet ministers would resign. We don't see that. They don't care. And it almost makes me feel we're in a feeding frenzy, knowing that the age of Canada is coming to a close. These guys are grabbing everything out of the bank. It's like a riot of scammers taking everything out, which leads me to my belief of where we're headed, because I don't believe Canada will exist financially, except for, geographically within a new union. But I just think that's what's happening. I think these guys are raiding the last of the food on the shelves, taking it all for themselves. Do as much as they can because something's up, something bigger is going on. If nobody cares and they just want to talk about it and that's it, and they don't actually want to capture the people doing it, that just says to me that they're all in on it. That uniparty, they're all feeding frenzy going on.
Yeah, I'm gonna clip myself. Okay.
Pardon the pun, feeding frenzy.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the whole deal. I mean, Blake, the way you're describing that thing to me, it reminds me of the classic scene in the movie The Ruddles, the famous spoof on the Beatles.
Oh, great movie.
Yeah, so we'll play this just for some comic relief here. But it's kind of like at the scene is that there had been pilfering in real life from the Beatles on Apple. People were stealing shit and stuff, and they're saying it didn't happen, and all this. So anyway, we're gonna look, and here's George. That's George Harrison, folks. Beatle George. He's got he's all done in makeup and stuff, and he's playing a little role here. This is a classic, 1:22. Let's have some fun.
There have been continued allegations that Ruttles Corps is going bankrupt. Eric Manchester, the Ruttles press agent, are these allegations true?
No, they're conjecture, They're sort of rumour. I think you find that where you get success, you'll always find this sort of rumour. No.
So the stories of the theft, they're not true also?
No, they're greatly exaggerated, It's bad, Things are going. But nothing like the rate that people indicate. The trouble is that people feel that because these boys are the Ruttles, people can come in and just help themselves to whatever they want, and this is just not on. And we're putting a stop to this, and we are doing, it's almost dried up. Things have gone. I won't deny it. Television sets. The odd car belonging to the company has disappeared. But it's not extreme, Although I did come in once and find that my office had been nicked. But it had been nicked by Ron Decline, who we'd called in to stop this sort of flow of goods from the building.
Okay. You get the idea.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
So this essentially is Canada now. You've got the Liberals raiding the coffers, and so there's a lot of the country's being run into the ground, and we're in a lot of trouble financially. We were just reporting on that $7.5 or $7.1 billion deficit, which apparently is some sort of record we set. Again, Nancy Pelosi coming in with her applause and condescension. Well, freaking done, Canada. You've absolutely ruined the joint. And there's the link, folks. Anybody interested in the cricket story? But they don't want us eating the beautiful steaks. They want us all sitting around eating bugs, which is... and we showed Gwyneth Paltrow a couple of weeks ago, or Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman. Yeah. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got here. Holy smokes, what the hell is this? Okay, which one do you want? Sue, Sweet Baby Bloodbath?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I've got this thing on screen right now. Sweet Baby Bloodbath is in at the very top.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Okay. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
The company went bankrupt because of that one down below, NorCal.
Oh, I see. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what you're playing.
I was just having fun with scrolling.
Well, let's not have fun with scrolling.
I was scrolling.
Okay, this is why you put it on screen. Okay. Liberals claim no records exist. 9 mil given a collapsed cricket farm. Located in London, Ontario, the Aspire Food Group facility was billed as the future of food. Now it's been picked apart in bankruptcy court.
Yeah.
Crickets. All I'm hearing is crickets, Blake. It's no good. Sue, get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that, so you're not tempted to put that up there. Okay?
You want to do the? It kind of falls into the one I put in the private chat. There is the link it's near the top there, but yeah, about Doug Ford and his comments. So this leads into this. This is kind of the
Doug
theory
Ford.
going into the Fortress North America files, which some people, I'm starting to get more agreement, but it's interesting hearing what is being said by, yeah. So go ahead and bring that out and let's take a look. But you'll notice in his comments there,
Yeah.
you don't have to listen to it, but up above it says, President Trump's tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum are a $15 billion tax on Americans and will cost tens of thousands of jobs in the U.S. So his second line is, I have a better idea. Drop the tariffs and let's build Fortress can to create 250,000 more steel jobs on both sides of the border in the next 2 years. That's the first time I've ever heard Ford, who basically is the equivalent of a governor. He's our premier of Ontario, the largest, most populous, almost half the country's population is there, has stated exactly where I believe we're headed. I think that's exactly what Carney's job is. I mean, he's calling Carney Santa Claus. Yeah. I mean, the fact, this is so weird, having a conservative leader and the Liberal Party prime minister being buddies at this level. He purposely got in the way of tanking Poilievre's campaign.
Yeah, and a lot of interference there. Yeah.
Well, and I as I said, there it is. It's there. He's saying it out loud. So there you go, elbows up, crowd. So if you want to be all outraged about anything, I'm fine with it. I think this is great. This is the direction we're going. But this leads to, why would they be raiding the bank and cashing it all? Because they know in an economic union with the U.S., that pile of money that's been printed is going to have to be absolved by the new common currency, which means those debt liabilities will transfer over to the Federal Reserve System, and it will go under the Federal Reserve debt tallies that they do in their accounting. So it will move there. So they're cashing out everything. They're grabbing everything. It's just like that. It was a great video watching them robbing the bank, knowing full well that Canada is in full receivership now, under the control of the globalist bankers, being Mark Carney, and they are going to walk us into an economic union with North America and with the United States. And that it's not going to be 51st state. It's not going to be that way. I can tell you that right now, because they won't be able to pull that off. I don't think a lot of Americans want that, because they don't want to dilute the political machine.
Yeah, but hold on. Let's, in full disclosure, this Canada, now maybe, okay, this is it has to be nuanced, but the popular vote was kind of split in Canada. So half went with the Conservatives, half went with Liberals. But these kind of conservatives we have in Canada, a lot of those type of conservatives are more like Democrats anyway. If in the America, if we were to transport them, some of those conservatives would probably end up looking more like Democrats, and a large number of them, almost all of them, would end up looking like rhino Republicans at their best.
So it would be better in a union, much like Europe, where you still have a sovereignty to control some things, but there would be an open border in the sense passport control wouldn't be there anymore. But that fortress, and he used the word Fortress he's calling it. I've been calling it Fortress North America. Essentially, the perimeter moves to the outside. But that was just an interesting comment. One of the largest, most populous province in Canada, the biggest economic powerhouse in Canada, is stating that.
Fantastic.
Good try.
You can catch trout with crickets. It's unbelievable. Cricket.
Might be able to get some crawfish too.
Holy shit, Patty. You're just on a roll today, my friend. Sue, you had another story in the private there. Just bring it up and we'll tackle it. You got a whole bunch there. Okay. Supreme Court.
Oh, yeah.
Supreme Court's up to, are they helping us, or are they being pains in the ass?
Let's do Dan Bongino.
Oh, yeah. Bongino made some great statements.
Okay,
is it the Hannity interview?
Yeah.
Okay,
that's a good one. We need to hear that.
Hannity is so annoying, man. Everybody knows it, too. He just talks over everybody and interrupts. So just let your guests do the thing, man. All right. We're waiting for Scusi to hunt that link down.
All right. It would help if I shared it.
Yeah, well, we'll put the share out as well.
Yeah.
All right. Here
Yeah,
we go.
Dan,
The
Dan was
novel
on
legal
fire.
theory of Alvin Bragg or Nathan Wade or Fonnie Willis and the DOJ. Is that something? Has anything come up? Is there any way to determine whether or not evidence was destroyed in any of these cases?
Well, there's always a way to determine that. I don't want to comment on that specific case right now for a reason. I don't want to get ahead of the Department of Justice on that. But I want to say this. You know, the FBI obviously has the public corruption portfolio. And yes, if you are a corrupt politician out there, if you are engaged in behavior, you know what you're doing, we're going to find you. I promise. No one is going to get off. The days of selecting and putting your partisan bias on and taking care of your friends, those days are over. You know what, Sean? I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. Well, maybe outside of you and a couple of. I don't care. I didn't come here for the money. I didn't come here to make. I know.
No, you didn't go there for the money. I can tell people that for sure.
No, I didn't come here to make friends. I don't give a damn about friends. I don't have any friends. I don't want any friends. I got my wife. I got you, and I got a small crew of people. So I don't need any friends.
If you want a friend in D.C., get a dog.
We're coming for you.
That'll help.
Yeah, exactly. You want a friend in D.C., right? Go get a Labradoodle like I have, because there are no friends in D.C. You've been doing this, 30 years. There are no friends here.
So
Okay.
Ben
So what's the
Bongino-
point? What's the point
is,
here?
Bongino says bookmark this because no corrupt politicians, right?
Yeah. So what does he mean?
So he did an interview with a lot of interesting points. So if you watch his whole interview, which I would suggest, he's got a lot of great stuff that he said about what the FBI is doing and up to, stuff about Jim Comey and all sorts of stuff.
Well, we know Comey's under the gun. We know he's under, because and Andrew McCabe, who is Dan Bongino's opposite number, his predecessor in the same office. We know McCabe was corrupt as hell, allegedly. And then we also have, the Lovebird in bed with those two, Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. Ladies and gentlemen, there you can check it out. Dan Bongino, you can follow the link there and watch the entire, as Sue was saying there. Okay, Blake, have you got something for us lined up in the chat, or have we covered it?
No, we covered the one thing I wanted to talk about was the Doug Ford comment, because I thought that's a big, finally a public figure of that level is saying something about it.
Let's do another one. Let's look at the AutoPen. I see you've got an AutoPen story going. The AutoPen, of course, all of this is coming to light. The idea that Biden wasn't in control of his faculties. And then we got this Jean-Pierre, she's out of there and she's saying, I'm not a Democrat anymore. I'm quit. I'm getting out. She wants to get the hell out before all the, the charges start coming, because it looks like rats are literally sinking the sinking ship there. All right, let's take a look at this one. Clandestine. Here we go. Fire, fire. Trump drops presidential memorandum instructing Pam Bondi to investigate Biden's AutoPen. Trump outlines how Biden aids abuse the use of the AutoPen to conceal Biden's decline. The biggest political scandal in history is now under official jurisprudence. And, there's the background. I don't want to go into all that right now. That's a little outside kind of the interests of our program. But the important takeaway is it's official. Pam Bondi is being directed by the president to look into it. So once they start looking into it, things are going to roll. We hope, right? Again, a lot of us are crying out. Chuck mentioned earlier, where's the arrest, man? We want to see some arrest. We haven't seen any. We know there was corruption. We know they've lied extensively, habitually, and yet there seems to be no end in sight to it. Is this a new link you've got up, Sue, or is that just the other one? I'll get rid of that. All right. Well, I think this is where we're at. Now, check that out, folks. We'll be back tomorrow with another program. I want to just draw attention to the fact that we'll keep an eye on this Trump-Elon Musk situation. And
there's something breaking, by the way, on that right now.
We got something break. Go ahead, Blake.
Bombshell update. Elon Musk says President Trump is in the Epstein files, adds that this is the real reason it hasn't been made public.
Okay, well, that's a bull.
Elon Musk is saying that.
Okay, that's
Okay,
a
let's-
Because
bull.
it's time. He just posted that. It's if you go to Elon Musk, find his Twitter feed. He says,
Yeah.
"Time to drop the really big bomb.
Yeah.
The real Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. This is the real reason they have not made that public."
Okay, really interesting. So if Trump's in there on the island, they got him on the island in there, playing around with kids, allegedly, then that'll end him. That'll be the end. Liberals, you can celebrate. This is the final kibosh on Trump. Something tells me this isn't accurate. And my instincts at this point in the game, I'm going to tell you, you can stamp mark, you can stamp date this, that the last refuge says, Elon Musk, watch who he's going to partner with. He's partnering with Rand Paul, who's been going at it with Trump, and also this other guy, Massey. Matthew Petty goes, it must be true. And we also got Massey. There's political enemies. Was Elon sent in there in order to betray or flip Trump from these guys? It's a really messy situation.
Well,
we
let's
have
see
to
which. There's so many fake Elon Musk accounts. So
Yeah, you got to go to the real
You
one.
gotta
It's
go to the
there.
real one.
that's what I'm
The
saying.
media is reporting on it everywhere right now.
Yeah,
Everybody's
of course
posting
they
It's
would.
gone viral.
This will.
Yeah, 45 minutes ago, he posted it. I'll put the link.
I got to tell you, Blake, if this is true, then Trump's done. That's the end. You can dust your hands. It's all over for
Okay,
Trump.
just share this one.
Okay.
I just put the link in there from Elon Musk's post.
All right. Here's the link, ladies and gentlemen. Good. Holy goddamn shit. Elon Musk claims Donald Trump is the Epstein files. Time to drop the really big bomb. Is Trump's in the Epstein files? This is the real reason they have not been made public. Have a nice day, Donald John Trump. Boom, from Elon. All right. Well, we have to see what happens.
Yeah, but is that the real Elon?
No, click on the link. Click
well,
on the
you
link
can
I
click
provided.
on the
That
link.
is the Elon link. I
Yeah,
just put
no,
it in
the
there.
Elon account has been burning Trump good today. We've seen that already. So he's a white slaver. Holy smokes. Well, it'll be great. This is what I was saying, Mac. We're following the story. All we can do is we know there's stuff. We don't know exactly what's the what is. But look at Wolfie's going, oh my God. But if this is true, if Trump's in there, he's dead, man. He's done. But the thing is, we know Trump, it depends in what context he's in those files, right? It would be a surprise that if he's not in there in terms on some level, right? But it doesn't mean he's in there dicking kids, but he could have been in there, on Thursday the 4th, Trump met with Epstein at this meeting to, arrange a financial deal, blah, 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 because that's what he was doing. He was connected. But I swear to God, if Trump's guilty, he's done. I'm guaranteed he's done. That's the end. You don't have, it's over. The nation's longest nightmare is over for our liberal heroes. All right.
But not MAGA.
Well, no,
MAGA will keep moving.
lives on. MAGA is independent of whoever holds
Exactly.
the idea. Is the principles and the argument about unrelenting immigration is problematic. Rogue judges problematic. I mean, it doesn't make all the actions and suddenly these people are good people. These judges that overstep their authority. The country's in trouble. We got to.
Well, can I mention something here? Yeah. It's interesting. Somebody asked Grok if this was true, and this is Elon's own AI system.
Yeah.
It says evidence shows Donald Trump's name is in the Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs, part of the Epstein files, but there's no indication of wrongdoing. The files were released by Trump's administration in February 27, 2025, contradicting claims that they were withheld to protect him. While speculation persists, no incriminating details about Trump have emerged from the credible sources. The topic is controversial. Public narratives often differ from verified facts. And Drew Hernandez, who's an online guy, I think he's with InfoWars, he basically asked Elon, he goes, I'm curious if what you're saying about Trump is being in the Epstein files is true. How long have you known about it? So he's like, okay, well, you weren't willing to talk about it before, but all of a sudden now you're mad at Trump. And you're just going to blow up.
Now you're going to throw under the bus. Where were you? You should have, as soon as you found this out, it should have gone to the police and got this information out. Or can you even go to the police? So much corruption. So obviously tomorrow, we just hit the top of the hour. Let's leave it with a
Cray.
cliffhanger.
Yeah.
What a cliffhanger. It's fantastic. We'll follow up on this story tomorrow. Donald Trump, Epstein Island, is it all over for the Teflon Don? We'll find out tomorrow. Blake, do we get you tomorrow? Are you going to be here Friday?
Yeah, I'm here till I think I'm for about 40 minutes.
Phone. Okay, well, we'll take the rest of it. Blake, you got a phone call. Everybody put a thumbs up on the show. Give us a like. Come back tomorrow. We'll follow more on this absolutely amazing day in news. Take